Welcome to the channel. This video is here to remind people. It is here to remind you of something that we have forgotten. Perhaps you also individually, but certainly as a society, as a collective, we have forgotten the power of darkness. This video is here to remind you of that power. Now, what makes me such an authority to speak about this subject? Well, I wouldn't consider myself an authority, but I have been practicing seidr magic for a number of years. In the last year, I've continued my journey by becoming a banisher. You see the red on my staff, you see the red on my wrists. That's the color of the banishers of the sittan tradition. There are at the moment two lines. There's a white line and there's a red line. The colors and the banishers. And when you are a banisher, you banish things. You clean people's houses, people's spirits, people's bodies, and people's souls. By the way, if you're interested in that, you could just call this number on the screen. Yeah, probably not. Just send me a message on Instagram. But if you're a banisher, you don't work all lovey-dovey. When you find something, a disease, something terrible from your past, do we just give it a flower and do we ask if it, could you please leave? No. We are banishers. We understand things like darkness. Now, without further ado, I will give you two, not one, but two really good examples. One of these examples has been mentioned before by Thomas Sheridan. I'll see if I can link his YouTube channel down here. Very interesting fella. He made a very good point. And the second point was already made by Caroline Lindon. She's an astrologer. But what I will do today in this video is I will put these 2 points together. I will weave a thread for you, and together we will follow that thread. And we will understand why we need darkness. Now, first example is we used to have darkness. We used to have darkness in our folklore, in our fairy tales. You may or may not know this, but those lovely fairy tales from Disney, when they were in their original shape, written down by the brothers Grimm, but they were many, many generations older, they were very gruesome. For instance, Sleeping Beauty, the prince didn't kiss her awake, no, he raped her. I don't know if that's rape or necrophilia, by the way, but I'll leave that up to you. There are tales of children being set on fire and shoved into furnaces. There are tales of children getting murdered by their mother-in-laws or by their wicked stepmother. I'm projecting my own feelings about my own mother-in-law, probably. It used to be really dark. Now the question is always why? Why is it so dark? Well, you have to understand that the world can be a very dark place. Very. I'm not pessimistic. There's also great beauty, but there's also great darkness. And children need to understand this in a very deep level. Need to understand this subconsciously, because if you are naive, as children always are, you can't defend yourself against this great darkness in the world. What these fairy tales do when they shock and traumatize our children, in their subconscious, there is created a firewall, a wall of fire, like a old school pagan antivirus of our own energetic system that can protect them. And you see that in the current generations that have been raised up on this Disney stuff. where everything is just wonderful and love and light and there's not enough darkness. They have trouble dealing with the darkness. These are people who think that Bill Gates is a wonderful person because, well, he wears sweaters and he gives all his money to charity, so he must be wonderful, right? The news says so. But there is a darkness in the world that is so dark. It's very hard to defend yourself against that darkness if it is so dark that you cannot even fathom its existence. If you're in that category, you are powerless to defend yourself against the darkness. Our old ancestors, they knew. They knew that the ones who are in power do incredibly dark things to keep their power and incredibly dark things to advance their power. We seem to have forgotten that. We seem to have forgotten that. The second part of this video is about our gods. Here in the West, with the Christ God, people think it's all love and light. Jesus forgives everything, but it wasn't always like this. Our gods used to be light as well as dark. Zeus in Greek mythology is a very good example. He cheats on his lovely wife Hera a lot of the times. Odin also has a lot of gray areas where he does some things that are not right, not wrong, just somewhere gray in the middle. We have a goddess of love and also a goddess of war. We have the light and we have the dark. So nowadays in our gods we only seem to have the light. I think it's damaging because, and this what I said was a post that Caroline Lindon made. I'll link her in the description because it was her insight and it's a very good insight. Because our mental institutions are filled to the brim with people who see demons everywhere. She had a very good explanation. The gods are also, there's a part of us that is godly. Literally, mythology teaches us that Odin gave us life with his breath. So there's part of him that is in us. But gods are part of us. And our gods need to be like us. And when we are told that God is only love and only light and he will forgive everything and everything will be great, just do as you're told. There are some people that it fractures something inside of them. And that part of us that is dark, they push it away and they project it. What they are actually looking for, these people in mental hospitals, is their own darkness and the darkness of their gods. Because that is what has been taken from them through the Abrahamic religions. So darkness is an ally. Darkness is necessary. Darkness, dare I even say, makes us whole and makes us human.